Welcome to 2025. Well, today is the 4th of January. It's a brisk winter's day, pretty cold, although there is the sun out. And here I am with Canary Wharf in the backdrop. Well, this morning I posted on LinkedIn and Substack and Medium and the Let's Fix the NHS.help blog all about, can a new NHS bank that we're proposing, can it help fix the NHS as well as fix the economy at the same time? Well, the goal with that new initiative, and it's taken from the model I developed for Transform Global to create an alternative investment bank to tackle the sustainable development goals. Unfortunately, I had to put it on hold because my mother and brother were both ill and sadly both passed away in the last few years. My mother in August and my brother 2 years earlier. And in that time, I realized that family had to come first. I spent a great deal of time out looking after both my brother and my mother and visiting in the hospital. And then when my mum had her stroke, it really rammed home to me the value that the NHS gives, and also the cost of underperforming in the many areas that do underperform. Both the experience, while it was also incredible, the first line responders, the healthcare workers, the clinicians, the consultants, the healthcare assistants, I just cannot thank all these people enough. But at the same time, the experience really, because I was there day and night with my mother, particularly towards the end, and when I looked after her in her own home, we had help from the community support teams, the district nurses, etc. And, I realized what a complex system it is, but also where there were many, many flaws. I spoke to so many people. And what I realized is that not only do we need to really discuss the system innovation that is at the heart of fixing the NHS. I admire the government's plans with NHS or change.nhs.uk. It's a great initiative, but we need to do so much more. We need to really bring in, not in industry cliques and closed rooms and closed Zoom calls, but we have to broaden the audience, get the innovators and the engineering, those with an engineering mindset involved to look at the various pieces of this system, how they fit together, and how collectively we can fix it. Now, a big part of that is the people behind, and in similar centres around the world and also distributed, the pension funds, the institutional investors. Now, the reality is that if we do not fund care, if we do not fund the care homes of the future, the training of the personnel, if we do not fund green infrastructure, if we do not make best use of the NHS's vast assets and estate, if we're not doing that, we are doing a massive disservice to this institution, to the country. Now, what I believe is that we need an institution that is built on the lines of a public-private partnership that can bring in what's called blended capital, so risk sharing, sometimes using government or national resources to help backstop any risk. But when that's done in the right way, in the right blended portfolios, and added value is added to those entities, that could be medtech organizations, prop tech, it could be property developers. There's so many areas that need intelligent financing with really good governance. And that is what the design for this new investment bank is all about. Now, I believe what that can do is to create an industrial strategy for the United Kingdom and a health strategy at the same time. Of course, many of the players in the buildings behind will want to participate. They'll want to participate because it will give them access to follow-on investment opportunities that they can essentially get to know about, they can originate early on, and therefore they can provide the later stage financing at fair market rates. So the key is having something that is both entrepreneurial, government supported, but also really focused on the mission, which is fixing the NHS. And if we do that, what we're able to do is to create an export model. So for countries around the world that want intelligent healthcare that is funded through taxation, free at the point of need, that is comprehensive, universal, that is incredible, incredible. It doesn't mean that we will not have some aspects that we have to pay for. We already have to pay for dental treatment. I, as you can see, have broken a tooth, and that all doesn't come for free. It'd be great if it did, but the key here is we've got to really look at our model. We've got to respect those founding principles, and we've got to adapt where appropriate, but where it also fits with that ideology, that ethos. And by doing so, and we also have to remember that the private providers play a big role in supporting the NHS on so many levels, whether that's catering, medtech, innovations, everywhere. But we've got to get better at buying these services. We've got to get better at procurement. We've got to really build up the strength within the NHS for knowledge and information sharing, so silly mistakes aren't made that can cost fortunes, billions. And we know that in the past, the IT blunders and also property blunders are horrific. The waste has been just huge. So we know that we can crowdsource information to help tackle this and other problems within the NHS. We can use AI to help analyze that information. We can use incentive structures to incentivize what we want and to disincentivize what we don't want. Well, this was going to be a short post. It sounds a little bit more like a manifesto, but the goal really is to create an entity that can dovetail with the economic health of the nation and the health of the nation, fixing the NHS in the process and enabling capital to flow. Now, of course, there's a lot more detail on what the exact institution will look like, what the fund structures will look like, who the investors will be, who will run it. There's many questions, but we have some answers for those questions. And in the Zoom call that's coming up, we want to do that the second week of January. In that Zoom call, I encourage you to register. We're going to answer some of those questions, explain how people can get involved, how they can potentially be on the team, potentially invest in the initial activity to stress test and essentially put this project plan and team together, and of course get the support of the UK government. So thank you very much for watching. If you're interested, if you want to tell other people, please share and like in the various forms. Obviously on the YouTube channel, the more subscribers the better. And this is very early days. Of course, this channel, this platform, Let's Fix the NHS.help, was only launched a few weeks ago. But the goal really is to spread this, to get acceptance, and really to play a meaningful part. Because without finance, without intelligently enabling the capital from organizations that you can see behind me to flow, we're just never going to do this. Never, ever. And therefore, what I really care about, because of the legacy I seek to provide on behalf of my mother and my brother and my father, who also passed in 1999 of motor neuron disease, we've got to get on top of these things. We've got to tackle chronic diseases. Of course, there are many things that we've got to do, but if we can pull together, we can do it. So I'm Steve Podmore. This is Let's Fix the NHS, and I wish you a tremendous 2025. Thanks a lot.